Greetings and salutations, viewers of YouTube. I'm your storytelling pal, Big Al, and I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. Please remember to like, comment, hit the bell, subscribe, all that good jazz. Couple of disclaimers before I get into my story. My stories that I tell on this channel are what I like to call true-ish. They're true as best I can remember them. And sometimes if I have to fudge a fact or two to make it a funnier story, I'm going to do so. But for the most part, they're as true as, makes for an interesting story and as true as I can remember them. I'm basically just doing it to get some people to laugh. And that leads me into my second disclaimer. While my grandest dreams for this channel are that millions of people will watch my videos and laugh and just get a break from whatever, is stressing them out at the time, there is kind of a segment of people that just go on YouTube to, either write a bunch of negative comments in the comment section or put a bunch of political or religious stuff. And if you do that, I'm just going to delete those comments, kind of like a gardener taking the weeds out of the garden. That's not what this channel's here for. So with all that said, let's get into the story. I hope you enjoy the story. I hope you enjoy all of the stories. So this story, to give you kind of some background, I have a friend, Greg, that I met when I was a sophomore in college. He was a freshman, and we both had golf class together. And so we would typically carpool to that class because that class met about 5 miles outside of the city where our university was. And so back then, when I was in soccer playing shape, or football for any of you international viewers, Greg and I started playing some tennis together. And I've always been the kind of tennis player that typically, if someone did not play on a tennis team in high school, I can at least give them a competitive match, win, probably 60% of the time. But if someone played in high school, I'm going to get beat pretty handily. And, my main stroke, or the things that make me good at tennis, are I've got a pretty fast serve, and then I hit some pretty big forehands. And, so all of my shots are pretty straight, fast, and low. That's kind of a great way to describe my tennis playing style. And when I would play Greg, we quickly realized that we were polar opposites in tennis. Greg's shots were best not measured in miles per hour, but in revolutions per minute. It didn't matter what shot he was hitting, it had so much spin on it that when it landed, it seemed like it could go any, one of the 360 different directions. And his serves, a lot of times, I don't know if they even cracked 25 miles an hour going across the net. But my gosh, they would hit, and I would be prepared to return it with a forehand, and suddenly I would be having to switch to a backhand and lunge after the ball, and my knees would just hurt for days after I played Greg because of how many times that I would set my feet getting ready to return the ball, or to hit it back, and just the ball would be changing where I anticipated its position to be just so quickly. And so after a few times of us playing together, we kind of came to a conclusion that we would probably make a better doubles team than just keep playing singles against each other. Because if we were playing doubles, then, no one would be able to really get used to the spin of Greg's shots and then the speed of my shots. It would be one of those things where it would be enough of a disruption that you know, as I'm hitting the ball fast and Greg is hitting it with so much spin, it would just keep the other doubles like team kind of too far off balance. And so we had agreed to play Chris and Jeremy, two guys that I knew in Henderson, which was where I was going to community college at the time. And I'd gone to elementary school there, you know, so I knew my way around it. But, you know, we moved, my family did, right between elementary school and middle school. So I didn't drive really in Henderson. And so, as such, when I went to community college there, that was really kind of the start of my driving in that area. And so we like talked to the Jeremy and Chris, and like we changed the location of where we was going to play to this park that was more on the north side rather than downtown by the river. And so I'm trying to lead Greg through this park to where we're like going to be playing. And Greg is just like, well, hey man, I'm going to follow you and, you know, just kind of show me where to go. And so, and my parents lived just a short distance away. So that's why Greg had his own car there that night, because he was going on back down to Murray. And I got on what I thought was the road, and keep in mind, it had just, the sun had just set, it had just gotten good and dark. So, you know, now it's kind of like, you know, you're a little more guessing. And I start driving down this road, and Greg is following me. And as we're going down the road through the park, Greg calls my cell phone, and he goes, hey man, I think you're on the walking trail. And I'm like, I think I am too. And so fortunately we didn't see any joggers or anything out that night, and we didn't see any cops, but we kind of quickly, once we saw a way to like get from the walking trail back onto the main road without tearing up a bunch of like grass, we definitely quickly did so. And kind of embarrassing, but that was just kind of a funny moment we had. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good jazz. Hope you're having a great one. I am out.